The Order of Saint Paul I, Hermit, known also simply as Pauline Fathers, is a monastic order of the Roman Catholic Church, founded in Hungary during the 13th century. Its post-nominal letters are O.S.P.P.E. This name is derived from the hermit Saint Paul of Thebes, canonized in 491 by Pope Gelasius I. After his death, a monastery taking him as its model was founded on Mount Sinai and still exists today. History: formed in 1215 by the blessed Eusebius of Estigom, of two communities, one founded at Patach in 121 by Bishop Bartholomew of P.E.Its, who had united the scattered hermits of his diocese, and the other consisting of his own followers. In 1246, blessed Eusebius, canon of the Cathedral of Estigom, resigned his dignities, distributed his goods among the poor, and withdrew to the solitude of the Pilis Mountains, near Zante, to lead a life of penance with a few companions. 4 years later he is said to have been admonished in a vision to gather into a community the other hermits living in the vicinity, for whom he built a monastery and church, the ruins of which are near the village of Pilis. In the same year Eusebius proposed and obtained affiliation with the Patach community under the rule prescribed by its founder, and was chosen superior. He received the approbation of Ladislaus, Bishop of P.E.Its, for the new order, but the publication of the decrees of the Fourth Lateran Council at this time necessitated a journey to Rome to secure final authorization by the Holy See. In 1263 a new rule was given the congregation by the Bishop of P.E.Its, which was superseded by still another drawn up by Andrew, Bishop of Aga, after the death of Eusebius, and this was followed until 1308, when the permission of the Holy See was obtained to adopt the rule of St. Augustine. The order was accorded many privileges by succeeding pontiffs, among others that of exemption from episcopal jurisdiction, and provisions were made for the pursuit of higher studies in many of the monasteries. One papal regulation ordaining that no member could be raised to any dignity in the order without the degree of Doctor of Divinity, for which a rigid examination was prescribed. The Pauline order spread rapidly through Hungary, where alone it soon numbered 170 houses, and it attained an equal degree of prosperity in other countries, being divided into 5 flourishing provinces: Hungary, Germany, Poland, Sweden. In 1381 the body of St. Paul, the patron saint of the order, was transferred from Venice to the monastery of St. Lawrence in Hungary, which thereby gained greatly in prestige. Among the other famous houses of the congregation of the historical Polish monastery of Our Lady of Jasna Góra in Częstochowa, Poland, with its miraculous icon of the Black Madonna of Częstochowa, and the monasteries at Postulant and Wiener Neustadt near Vienna. The church of San Stefano Rotondo at Rome was attached to the Hungarian college by Gregory XIII. In 1783 a number of houses in Bohemia, Austria proper, Styria, etc., were suppressed, and political disturbances in Hungary brought the same fate to most of the Hungarian monasteries, which had rendered incalculable services to religion and education. The destruction of the annals of these houses left the historical sources very meagre. There remained a handful of houses of the order in Poland. At the beginning of the 20th century only 2 Pauline monasteries remain. One of them was the Church of St. Michael the Archangel and St. Stanislaus of Szetepanow, bishop and martyr, connected to a monastery na Skalce, in Kraków, Poland, found by Jan de Lugos, and regarded as a national sanctuary. The other was recalled earlier, the monastery of Our Lady of Jasna Gora. Among the members of the order to attain prominence were George Martinuzzi, Bishop of Nagyvarad and Cardinal, an important figure in the history of Hungary, Matthias Furman of Hernals, historian of Austria and editor of the Acts of Saint Paul of Thebes, Fortunatus Jurich and Franz Forst and Prokaska, editors of a Czech translation of the Scriptures. The habit was originally brown, but about 1341 white was adopted, with a white belt a cincture, and over the white tunic a white scapula with a hood. In choir, or more commonly in liturgical events, a white mantle is worn by monks in perpetual profession. Blessed Eusebius of Esztergom. Eusebius was born in Esztergom in the Kingdom of Hungary around 1200. He came from a wealthy, well-to-do family. He received his ordination in the cathedral in Esztergom as a canon regular of St. Augustine. In 1216, he received permission from the bishop to leave the cathedral and he began a hermitage in Pilis. In 1246, more of his brother canons and other hermits along the river Danube lived with him near Pilis Zanto. Around 1250 he founded the first real Pauline community at the Monastery of the Holy Cross, where they adopted the rural hermits from the monastery of St. James in Patach. In 1256 he was elected the first provincial of the order. In 1262 he asked the Pope Urban IV established for the approval of the religious community, where they were given or temporal approval. On December 13, 1308, Cardinal Gentilis, as a legate of Pope Clement V, travelled from Rome to Hungary to grant the approval, and on this day he also bestowed the rule of St. Augustine on behalf of the Holy See. A year later, the first monastic constitutions were approved. Eusebius died on January 20, 1270, in the Monastery of the Holy Cross. He was interred in the monastery crypt. During the 150 years of Turkish occupation in Hungary, the church and monastery of the Holy Cross, including his tomb, was destroyed. On November 16, 2004, the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments, in approving the new liturgical calendar of the Pauline Order, authorized the inclusion of the 20th of January at the feast of Bel. Eusebius of Esztergom. It is noteworthy to mention that due to the close relation between the Hungarian people and the Order of Saint Paul I, Hermit, Blessed Eusebius was always referred to by the people as blessed not long after his death and to this very day. Coat of arms. The Pauline coat of arms contains within it the symbols listed by Saint Jerome, according to pious tradition, which are associated with the last moments of Saint Paul of Thebes' life. The Order today. Charism of the Order today. The essence of the Pauline Fathers are contemplation of God in solitude, attention to liturgical prayer, a poor and industrious life, apostolic activity, especially preaching the Word of God and the administration of the sacraments. Pauline formation. To become a religious, it is necessary to undergo an initial period of testing as a religious brother, hence the novitiate. This time is used to isolate a candidate for the seminary, a religious, to personal and telephone contact with family and existing friends. The novice can write letters, which are subjected to censorship. During the novitiate, the novices meet with the family only twice, on taking of the veil and on making first profession. During the novitiate, every Friday is a day during which novices are not allowed to talk to each other. The day ends with a joint ceremony, the Via Crucis. During the stay in the novitiate, brothers perform all work in the monastery farm. They work in the field at digging potatoes, with the breeding and maintenance of the pigs. They also do work in the monastery flower vegetable garden. The entire period spent in the novitiate is to knead the novice and show the convictions and of the stability of the candidate to make his decision to become a monk. It is also the period during which the older monks will will need to assess the novice's suitability for life in a group, such as the order. The order generally accepts any men who have completed high school onwards. Those who are called to holy orders will undergo the following type of formation: the postulancy in a parish or monastery belonging to the order, the pre-novitiate at the monastery of Skalcze in Krakow, which will last on average from the 15th of July to the 31st of August, followed by the novitiate in Archilesnio, lasting a year, which consists of the receiving and investiture of the habit and the profession of first religious vows. The seminary, returning to Skalcze after the novitiate, the seminarian will undergo 2 years of philosophy and 4 years of study of theology in Krakow. After the studies are completed, the submission for perpetual vows and taking holy orders takes place. Men with no secondary education who feel the call to the religious life but not to the priesthood and who wish to live in community can be religious brothers for life. To do this, they must go through the following stages of training: the postulate of Jasna Gora, which lasts 6 months, a 2-year novitiate in Archilesniawi, where they will receive the habit in the first year and completed the first religious vows. In the second year, 2 years juniorate close to Jasna Gora, or in Jasna Gora, 2 years juniorate the facility designated by the superiors, who end up filing perpetual vows. It is noteworthy to mention that this is the general scheme for all wishing to enter the order of Saint Paul I, Hermit in Poland, where the majority of the order is today. The countries offering formation is Hungary and the Cameroon. The Australian House is also offering limited formation at the designation of the Major Superior. Some candidates are sent to Rome to either complete or commence their studies. This being said, Poland is where most of the formation is carried out. General administration of the order. The order has its own constitution and directory. They adhere to the rule of St. Augustine, which was given to them in the year 1308. Definitorium during the chapter general elections held on 6 and 7 March in 2014 AD. The following fathers were elected to the following positions within the order: Father General of the Order -Fr. Arnold Krapkowski, O.S.P.P.E. Vicar General of the Order -Fr. Mitchell Lukosik, O.S.P.P.E. Definitor -Fr. Mariusz Tabulski, O.S.P.P.E. Definitor -Fr. Ryszard Bortkiewicz, O.S.P.P.E.IV Definitor -Fr. Kazimierz Maniaki, O.S.P.P.E. General Procurator of the Order to the Holy See -Fr. Basili Degorski, O.S.P.P.E. Administrator General of the Order -Fr. Jan Bednarz, O.S.P.P.E. Secretary General of the Order -Fr. Parel Prigodki, O.S.P.P.E. The term of office lasts 6 years. Definitorium. Distribution of the order. As of the 8th of December 2012, the Order of Saint Paul I, Hermit has 69 homes, monasteries, parishes in 16 countries. There are currently 516 monks, including 50 at various levels of formation, and 1 bishop of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Umzimkhulu in the Republic of South Africa. The province of Germany was founded in 2002. Since April 14, 2008, provincial is about Miroslav March 29, 2011. 3. During the provincial chapter of the province of the Order of the German election, Pauline was re-elected for a second 3-year provincial term. The American province was founded in 2008. Since November 2011 by Fr. Nicholas. Provincial Socha, Province of Australia, founded in 2008. For the 16th of January 2009 by Fr. Wislaw. Provincial Wozniowski. Quasi-Province of Hungary, Quasi-Province of Croatia.